Visually, Xena, warrior princess, places the redemptive work of Christ's death on a cross in female bodies. It subverts the gender codes of official Catholic theology. But Xena does not die once upon a cross. No, but not once, but several times. The cross is everywhere in Xena, warrior princess, but it is neither unambiguously a religious symbol nor one of salvation. Behind Xena's and Christ's cross is a history of violence. At the end of the first episode in which she is crucified, Xena says, "Tell Hades to prepare himself. A new Xena is born tonight with a new purpose in life, death." Xena's first death on the cross initiates what the series constantly refers to as the cycle of violence and hatred. This is the driving narrative force behind much of the series, and its visual metaphor of the cross exposes a Christian history of violence as revenge for the crucifixion of Jesus against all those who oppose those who wield power in Christ's name. The real turning point in recent history was not September 11th, 2001, but March the 20th, 2003, when a US-led coalition invaded Iraq. This invasion has cost the lives of 500,000 Iraqis and is a continuation of the violent history of the cross that Xena, warrior princess, exposes. The apotheosis of the hero, when he and now she touches the divine, comes at the moment of death. One of the cultural features of death in the modern world is the increasingly elaborate attention given to the deaths of those whom the popular imagination consider extraordinary. With television and satellite transmission, the funerals of the famous become spectacles watched in the case of Princess Diana or Pope John Paul II by millions, even billions. On the television screen, news coverage of celebrity death and the demise of popular characters in drama series converge. They may be fictional characters, but the television has turned them into celebrities, whose death has a similar, in some cases I suspect the same, emotional impact on viewers as the death of the real living famous. One wonders whether in secular modern Western countries, the mass expression of grief at the deaths of the famous is part of a substitute for earlier devotions that centered on Christ's death. Xena's and Gabriel's death on a cross fuses the traditional imagery of Christ's death with that of contemporary celebrity death. In popular Catholic devotion, lived religion, an aesthetic of death has developed around the bodies of Christ and the saints. Christ's risen body ascends into heaven, and a precious relic in some Catholic churches is the body of a saint that has supposedly not suffered decay. There is also a tendency in traditional Christian art to portray Christ's body, and often that of a saint, as exceedingly handsome, even on the cross or in a martyr's death. These are bodies too lovely to be corrupted by death. Xena and Gabrielle also have beautiful bodies, bodies that are not marred by imperfections or frailty, bodies in full possession of their sensuality. The very force of their sensuality seems capable of overcoming their physical torment and death. This aesthetic also becomes an erotics of death. You can see this erotic on church walls and in art galleries, when your gaze falls on the beautiful body of Saint Sebastian, pierced by the arrows of both martyrdom and desire. Indeed, pictures of Christ's crucifixion from the 16th and 17th century depict Jesus' body as eroticized when confronted with death. Religious art has long been the purveyor of erotic, including homoerotic desire. After their death on the cross, Zena and Gabrielle ascend into the heavens with loving glances at each other and hands clasped together. The hope of an invincible sensuality is anchored in the power of the erotic, however spiritualized that may have become in the more formal discourse of Christian theology. Xena Warrior Princess began its run at the point when the internet was transforming the fan culture of television shows. The makers of the series embraced this fan culture, and there was significant interaction between it and the televised series. One consequence of its vibrant fan culture is that it has survived long after the series ended and has constantly taken on new forms. One of those forms is the YouTube video. And I have time to briefly discuss, but not show, just one of these videos that addresses and remixes the erotics of death from the series. You can find this on YouTube, and just search placebo with meds, one word. Now the video is called Beautiful Even in Death. It was posted by Michaela Nordland on YouTube on October the 6th, 2006. Nordland takes the song Beautiful by the Finnish group HIM and overlays it with clips from episodes in which Xena or Gabrielle or both of them die. Dying is a rather frequent activity of Xena and Gabrielle, so there are several episodes and plenty of footage to choose from when editing a short video. There are no religious references in the music, and Nordland could have found enough footage to make the video without taking material from any of the crucifixion episodes. Instead, 3 minutes of a video 4.5 minutes long are taken from the crucifixion episodes. What seems to attract Nordland to the Christ-like crucifixion of Xena and Gabrielle is not the religious character of the imagery, but how the visual narrative deploys it in an erotic of death. In her brief description of the video on YouTube, she writes, "I think what I'm trying to portray is that their deaths are beautiful and not saddening, because they always find their way back to life and each other." So in the video, as Gabrielle places a kiss on Xena's forehead, Nordland matches the video to the music's words, "Just one kiss then I'm alive, just one kiss then I'm ready to die, because you're so beautiful." Then, as the words are replaced by a sensuous humming in the music, Nordland intercuts the lowering of the women on the crosses, Xena and Gabrielle's final declaration of love, nails poised to be hammered into hands, the raising of the crosses, and their lifeless bodies hanging from the crosses. Nordland's visual choices are analogous to the representational decisions about what to portray of Christ's crucifixion in traditional Christian art. Obviously, she was guided to these decisions by the choices of the television program, but she's obviously appropriated this visual material to her own purposes that are in no way discernibly religious. Later in the video, Nordland includes the footage of Xena's spirit awakening Gabrielle's and their ascension for the crosses into the heavens. She combines this with the repeated refrain of the song, "And you're so beautiful." Nordland's belief, though not a religious one, is that Xena and Gabrielle always find their way back to life and each other. Her video's pairing of images and music suggests that their physical bodies and beauty endow them with an erotic power that can overcome death. Sensuality is salvation.
There are 2 disclaimers that I must give before I start this paper. Number one, this is not solely my paper. This paper comes in contrast with my very good friend down here on the front row, Diane Winston, who compelled me and impelled me, much like Laura Rosalind, to do this paper with her, and I'm very glad she did, because otherwise I would not have had the argument about whether she's Laura